From grainy photos to eyewitness accounts, the mystery of UFOs has intrigued and puzzled humanity for decades. This fascination has even reached the upper echelons of government, leading to the creation of specialized programs to investigate these mysterious occurrences. One such program is the Pentagon's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or AARO for short. At the helm of this operation was Dr. Kirkpatrick, a man whose dedication to unraveling the truth was as unwavering as it was thankless. Tasked with sifting through a deluge of claims and sightings, Dr. Kirkpatrick and his team faced an uphill battle in their quest for evidence-based analysis. But as Dr. Kirkpatrick reveals, his time at the Pentagon was anything but smooth sailing. Dr. Kirkpatrick's tenure at the Pentagon was marked by frustration and disillusionment. Each day, he and his team at the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program were bombarded with sensational claims that, more often than not, lacked the substance to hold water. This relentless flood of unverified reports threatened to drown their earnest efforts to understand unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs, in a sea of sensationalism. Imagine trying to conduct serious scientific inquiry, only to have your efforts overshadowed by a whirlwind of tall tales. It's like trying to have a calm and reasoned conversation in the middle of a circus. The noise, the spectacle, the constant distractions, they all make it nearly impossible to focus on the task at hand. This is the picture Dr. Kirkpatrick paints of his time at the Pentagon, a time when the pursuit of truth was constantly undermined by an onslaught of unsupported claims, each more fantastical than the last. And the worst part? These claims weren't just coming from the fringes. They were amplified by the uproar of social media, with each retweet and share adding fuel to the fire. The constant scrutiny of UAP enthusiasts didn't help either. Their relentless focus on every unproven claim, every hint of a cover-up, created a chaotic environment that made it nearly impossible for Kirkpatrick and his team to do their work. But perhaps the most damaging aspect of this whole saga was the toll it took on Kirkpatrick himself. The constant pressure, the relentless scrutiny, the never-ending barrage of sensational claims, they all led to a growing sense of disillusionment. A feeling that the serious scientific inquiry he had dedicated his life to was being undermined by a culture of sensationalism and conspiracy theories. This whirlwind of tall tales ultimately led to Kirkpatrick's decision to step down. As he walked away from his post, he left behind a field in turmoil, a community divided, and a legacy marked by frustration and disillusionment. Kirkpatrick's candid revelations have sparked a fiery debate within the UFO community. In the wake of his opinion piece, a whirlwind of reactions has swept across the UFO enthusiasts and researchers alike. Some stand by Kirkpatrick, defending his integrity and applauding his honesty. They argue that his frustrations are valid given the sensationalism and unverified claims that often plague the UAP field. They commend his dedication to evidence-based inquiry, even when it goes against prevailing sentiments. Yet there are others who view Kirkpatrick's revelations as a betrayal. In their eyes, he has abandoned the quest for truth, choosing instead to discredit the field he once championed. They argue that his skepticism has overshadowed the potential for uncovering the unknown. Among these critics is a particularly vocal figure, Taylor, who has gone as far as labeling AARO a farce. He points to the internal strife within the UAP investigation community as evidence of its failure to uphold scientific principles. This fallout is emblematic of the broader tensions within the UFO community. On one side, there's a push for rigorous, evidence-based investigation, which Kirkpatrick champions. On the other side, there's a fervor for unverified claims and sensational theories, which can drown out the voice of reason. It's a delicate balancing act, and Kirkpatrick's departure from AARO has only added fuel to the fire. But what about Kirkpatrick's current stance on UAPs? In the past, he was known for his commitment to scientific rigor. Now, he seems to dismiss many unresolved UAP cases, offering mundane explanations for the unexplained. This shift has drawn its own share of criticism, with some accusing him of abandoning the scientific method he once held dear. Clearly, Kirkpatrick's revelations have stirred the pot, but what about his current stance on UAPs? As we delve deeper into his recent statements and the ensuing debate, we'll see that the fallout is far from over. The UFO community is divided, the quest for truth is under scrutiny, and the future of UAP research hangs in the balance. From a staunch advocate of scientific rigor, Dr. Kirkpatrick seems to have taken a more dismissive stance towards unresolved UAP cases. This shift in attitude seems to be a reaction, perhaps, to the tumultuous tenure he had as the Pentagon's lead investigator on unidentified aerial phenomena. In recent times, Dr. Kirkpatrick has been vocal about his views, and it's clear that his perspective has evolved. He has started to downplay many unresolved anomalies that once held his fascination and provoked rigorous scientific inquiry. Instead of attributing these phenomena to the unknown, he often provides mundane explanations, pointing to advanced technologies or misidentified objects as possible solutions. This departure from his initial commitment to scientific rigor has not gone unnoticed. Many within the UFO community have criticized Kirkpatrick for his lack of evidence and objectivity. His assertions, they argue, are unsupported and counter to the standards of scientific inquiry he once championed. The same scientific method he once held as the cornerstone of his investigations into UAPs now seems to be falling by the wayside. But it's not just his critics who have picked up on this shift. Even those who once stood with Kirkpatrick have started to question his changed stance. The unresolved anomalies, they argue, deserve more than dismissive explanations. They call for the same rigorous, evidence-based inquiry that Kirkpatrick himself once advocated. Through all this criticism, it's important to remember that Kirkpatrick hasn't turned his back entirely on the UAP discourse. He still engages in discussions and debates on the subject. In a recent podcast appearance, he reiterated his commitment to rational discourse on UAP, acknowledging the difficulty in swaying true believers. However, his recent statements and the shift in his approach to UAPs have undoubtedly left many disillusioned. But despite the criticism, Kirkpatrick hasn't completely abandoned the discourse on UAPs. His continued engagement, albeit with a changed perspective, shows a willingness to remain part of the conversation. It's a conversation that, as Kirkpatrick's own journey shows, is fraught with challenges and controversy, but one that continues to captivate and intrigue us all. In a recent podcast, Dr. Kirkpatrick reiterated his commitment to rational discourse on UAP. He voiced his views on a platform that has increasingly become a battleground for those entrenched in the UAP discussion. Kirkpatrick's appearance was marked by a sense of weary determination. A man once in the vanguard of the UAP investigation, now wrestling with the very essence of the field. Kirkpatrick stressed the difficulty of swaying the minds of those he termed true believers. It's a term he uses to describe those who hold unshakable faith in their beliefs, regardless of the evidence, or lack thereof, presented to them. He lamented the uphill battle of trying to introduce a more balanced, scientific approach in a field dominated by sensationalism. However, his recent statements have left many in the field feeling disillusioned. Once a champion of scientific rigor, the same man now appears to dismiss many unresolved UAP cases with mundane explanations. Rather than the rigorous, evidence-based approach he once advocated, Kirkpatrick now seems to favor a more dismissive stance. This shift has not gone unnoticed, nor has it been received without criticism. Many within the community feel that his assertions lack the very evidence and objectivity he once championed. This seeming about-face has led to questions about Kirkpatrick's commitment to the principles he once held dear. His recent statements fall short of the scientific standards he once set, causing many to feel let down by a figure they once looked up to. But perhaps this is less a story of personal failing, and more a stark illustration of the challenges inherent in the field of UAP investigation. A field fraught with sensationalism, conspiracy theories, and an often overwhelming wave of social media scrutiny. It's a daunting landscape to navigate for anyone, let alone someone tasked with the monumental job of separating fact from fiction. Kirkpatrick's departure from the UFO investigation scene underscores the challenges of navigating a field rife with sensationalism and conspiracy theories. It's a reminder that even the most resolute of researchers can be worn down by the relentless tide of unverified claims and unfounded speculation. It's a sobering reflection of the state of UAP research today. Kirkpatrick's recent statements raise questions about his commitment to objective analysis and evidence-based inquiry. His shift in attitude sends ripples across the UAP research community, stirring a mixture of apprehension and curiosity about the future of this scientific field. Kirkpatrick's skepticism, once a driving force for rigorous investigation, now seems to cast a shadow on the pursuit of understanding these unidentified aerial phenomena. As we grapple with his change of heart, we're left with a lingering question. What does this mean for the future of UAP research? Will this breed a new wave of skepticism, or will it fuel the fire for those committed to unraveling the mysteries of the sky? Perhaps it might even pave the way for a more balanced approach, one that combines scientific rigor with an open mind for the unknown. As we continue to gaze up at the sky and wonder, only time will tell what the future holds for the study of unidentified aerial phenomena.